Hi, and welcome to Book Impressions, a channel where I will give you my impression on a book's cover, blurb, reviews, and tell you a little about the author. If you like this kind of content, I hope you will consider subscribing. So let's begin.
Hi, and in this episode, we will be doing a book impressions on the book The Host by Stephenie Meyer. If that name sounds familiar to you, it's because Stephenie Meyer wrote the book series Twilight. But in this book, I was drawn to it when I was doing my last book impressions on the book Twilight because I stumbled on this book called The Host. When I look at this book cover, I think the thing that drew me to it was, I think it's got some very interesting characters on the front. The main character is probably the young woman who's in the middle, and then you have two men. So this is a very good book cover. I think they did a great job with the font, and they gave you kind of a little clip to say from the author of the Twilight series saga. So let's go over and read the blurb. I'm so fascinated by this book. Melanie Strider refuses to fade away. The Earth has been invaded by a species that takes over the mind of human hosts while leaving their bodies intact. Wanderer, the invading soul who has been given Melanie's body, didn't expect to find its former tenant refusing to relinquish possession of her mind. So obviously, what happened is this invader named Wanderer tried to get into Stephenie Strider's body, and Stephenie Strider, how powerful her mind is, I guess, she would not vacate, but so they're both in that body. As Melanie fills Wanderer's thoughts with visions of Jared, I wonder who is Jared here. I guess when we get to a description in the book, we can find out. A human who still lives in hiding, Wanderer begins to yearn for a man she never met. Reluctant allies, Wanderer and Melanie set off to search for the man they both love. I guess when Wanderer had all of Melanie's thoughts, she kind of started to like and maybe fell in love with this guy named Jared along with Melanie. Interesting twist. Featuring one of the most unusual love triangles, The Host is a riveting and unforgettable novel about the persistence of love and the essence of what it means to be human. Interesting. Very good blurb. It kind of tells you that this invader invading Melanie's body has got Melanie's thought patterns, and it's just enough to say, hey, I'll go with you, we're going to fight this together and go after the man we love. Should be interesting when they meet the man, on whether or not he knows that there's two entities there. Should be interesting to see if he decides he's going to be with Melanie or with Wanderer, or with both. Like I said, unusual love triangle. Anyway, let's look at the reviews. There are 8,989 ratings right now as of January the 7th of 2022. It has 4.5 stars, so it's got a powerful readership. 75% like it at 5 stars, 16% 4 stars, 5% 3 stars, and 2% 2 stars, and 2% 1 star. Let's read some of the headings. For 5 stars. Okay, 5 stars. It says all-time favorite book. Okay, interesting. This person really thought this book was good. Good job, Stephenie Meyer. Don't watch the movie, read the real thing. Okay, someone obviously thinks this book is better than the movie. I didn't know there was a movie, but now I know. Okay. Extraordinarily unique and well written. Obviously they like that book. Excellent story. I have read it over and over. I always say when somebody reads a book over and over, they really like that story. Let's look at 4 stars. Okay, and 4 stars. Says you might just be surprised at how well done the story is. Makes you wonder why this person didn't get it 5 stars. That kind of heading. I preferred it to the Twilight series. Give this book a chance. A good story held back. Interesting. Incredible view with outstanding twist of conflict. Very interesting. Way better than the movie. Says it's long, but hey, they obviously read it. Great read, nothing like Twilight. So obviously this person preferred this book over Twilight because they say it's nothing like Twilight. So that's interesting. And let's look at 3 stars. This is where I always say you find the constructive criticism of a book. I enjoyed this book, but warning for spoilers, so I'm not going to read this if there's spoilers in there. Difficult read, potentially an interesting world. This one doesn't boil, only simmers. Was not as awful as expected. Convoluted, okay? I enjoyed this novel by Stephenie Meyer. Weird, but a great book club selection, so they're obviously in a book club. Good overall story, but also a dragging tale. So obviously somebody thought the pacing was slow. So if you don't like a book that's slow, you might maybe rethink this. But then again, sometimes when books are really good, you don't mind that a story slows down. At least that's what I found. Let's look at 2 stars. Okay, went downhill. The movie is better than the book. One minute you say the book is better, and I say the movie is better. Who knows? It's a personal thing. Couldn't feel sorry for the heroine. Rambling and without figurative guts. Some people thought this book was kind of rambling. Alright, interesting. Potential to be a decent book fell a little flat. Okay. Maybe if it hadn't have fallen flat, they might have given it a 3 or 4 stars. Let's look at number 1 stars. 1 stars are usually the people who don't read in this genre. For some reason, they'll try to read a book, but they just don't read in this genre, and it's very obvious. Horrible. Just couldn't get into it or enjoy it. About as good as Twilight, so you can see already they didn't like Twilight and they didn't like the host, so you can already see that this person is definitely not a reader of Stephenie Meyer's books. So that's interesting. Let's look at Stephenie Meyer. I did talk about Stephenie Meyer in the previous book impressions when I did Twilight, but I'll just kind of sum up here. You know, she wrote Twilight back in 2003 and it debuted in 2005. And the number 5 spot on the New York Times bestseller list, and that's unusual for a book. So it tells you that Twilight was really good. Look at her bio. This is where I was looking for books and I found the host because these are her book listings. And I just kind of ran into the host and I thought, well, maybe I'll do a book impressions on it next. There's Stephenie Meyer. She has a blog. And she lives in Arizona with her husband and 3 sons. And I was saying in the previous book impressions, I thought that was interesting because I live in Arizona. I'd be curious to know where in Arizona she lives. You can obviously buy the box set for Twilight, which isn't bad. So she's got several books you can check out. She has a long bio, and I did read a lot of it on her Twilight one. But the interesting thing is Stephenie Meyer graduated from Brigham Young University with a degree in English literature. And then it talks about her living here in Arizona. Anyway, what I'll do, I will link this book down in the description if you're interested in checking it out, or even possibly checking out the movie. So with all that in mind, this is Book Impressions. Until next time, signing off.